Yeah, we're live. What's going on, my people? It's Tunnel TV. It's the transfer show. We're back. I'm here with another superstar studded panel. Of course, I have Dio Banta on the pitch. I have my man Side Football Corner, and I have my man, the Chelsea fan, the wise Chelsea fan. I call him Hanif. Always a pleasure to have you. Some people are late, but they'll join in later. So I don't know. I don't know where to start from. It's been a crazy 48 hours. I think we should start off with Enzo Fernandez because I don't know what's really going on in Chelsea's camp. It seems like at least 12 Chelsea players have unfollowed him. I think.
Mm.
Hanif, what's going on? What's going on with Chelsea right now? Like, there's a whole racism scandal. There's players unfollowing each other. There are people subbing each other on X. Now they call it. What's going on, man? What's going on?
Yeah, you know as much as I do. I don't have a clue. I only found out about the Enzo story this morning, and it could be nothing really. I think the media is always looking for something when a player gives a share to a particular fan. Um, we as a club are going through a major transfer crisis, I would put it, because we're signing a lot of youth on top of what we've already bought. There was some type of foundation last season. It seems to be obliterated, and we're in the media for the wrong particular reasons. I just think it's the only way to keep Chelsea relevant. I don't think we are anywhere near the top 4 to 6 clubs, in my personal opinion, as a club. Um, but we're just gonna have to see how this all pans out. I just don't understand how I don't think the young players of today, or the players that we have at Chelsea Football Club, understand what it takes to be a professional footballer of today's time. You shouldn't. The Enzo thing, I think, is it possibly could be blown out of proportion, but the way we're doing business and who we're buying and why we're buying them, it's not great. I'll say it right now. I think we're going to make top 8, possibly. So it's not looking good from my point of view. Other Chelsea fans might tell you different.
Well, me personally, I think what happened. I don't know. I saw the chants on the bus about Mbappe and whatever. Right now we live in a very sensitive world, and I think footballers really need to be intelligent and be very smart, especially when the camera is on. They need to be careful what they say. Everybody now, any small thing you say can be used against you right now in the world we live in. So I think that was very, very unintelligent of him. I mean, you get because you're in a dressing room with Chelsea has a lot of black players, a lot of black French players. Is a club that's always had black French players, and that was a very, very stupid thing. And I saw Jackson defending him. Jackson should have just shut the fuck up. Like, what the fuck is your business in this? Like, just shut the fuck up and let it play out. Because right now, what's gonna happen is they're gonna have cliques, they're gonna have camps in that dressing room. And it's a bad problem for the manager to start because it's not even a tactical problem, it's a personal problem, a deep-rooted issue. I don't know how do you feel about this side?
Um, Listen. Firstly, I'm disgusted by the stuff that they said. This whole chant business. Listen, when it comes to racism, I have a very, very. It's no racism. I don't want no racism in the game, and unfortunately, however many times they do this say no to racism, they do these promotions, and they try to make this whole thing about, oh, we're taking racism out the game. You can never take it out the game. You can't, because it's just everywhere. And the thing is, the stupidity of Enzo Fernandez and majority of the players on that bus who sat there and sung those songs, making fun of people that are representing France, that aren't French, that aren't naturally French, white, as they want to say, but they're Africans, but they still choose to represent that country. And knowing the history, knowing the whole politics behind this whole stuff, like it's very stupid from these players to do that. It's disgusting, and listen, I'm completely against it. Let's just get that right. But now the situation is, this is going to make it very difficult for Chelsea and for Enzo Maresca, who has come in now and now has to deal with a massive issue straight off the bat. He has to deal with this issue where, let's face it, apparently news has come out, Enzo Fernandez he issued the public apology, but he also issued personal apologies to all of the players that he plays with. By the way that it sounded, coming from the likes of Fofana, and how Fofana took that personally. By the way, you could see by the way that he was talking and the way he acted, putting the Ivorian flag on his Twitter handle, Twitter bio, so you could tell, like, bro, this guy's trying to disrespect me, acting like I just gave up my country and decided to go play for France just because I wanted to play for France. Like, no, like it's a disrespect when you speak like that about people when they go to represent that country. They chose to go represent that country, and you sit there and you say, oh, they got this passport, they got that passport, their mum is this, their dad is that. It's disrespectful. You don't do that. And now going back to it. Yeah, no, I just want to say, listen, I think it's so stupid for these players and the arrogance that they are just acting like, with such arrogance, like as if they could just do whatever they want. You can't do whatever you want, and you will be held accountable. And then now they have to be made an example of. Every single player that was singing that chant, I don't care where they play. Even if it was my player and they played for Arsenal Football Club, they must be held accountable, because we can't let this shit run. If we let this shit run, then the next player will be able to think that they can do it, and then the youth will start thinking that they can do stuff like that.
It's crazy funny, right? When somebody is supposed to be, when people, let me use people because there's a lot of people in that video who are supposed to be professionals act very unprofessional. They don't even realize that in the normal world outside football, people can have dual nationalities. That's a normal thing. So why is that an issue? Like, people can have dual nationalities, right? I'll give you an example. My mom is Ghanaian. My dad is Nigerian. Ghana is a motherland. Nigeria is a fatherland, which means I can go run for politics in Ghana because my mother is Ghanaian. Good example. Former president of Ghana, Jerry Rawlings, his father was Scottish. His mother was Ghanaian. Hear that again. The president of an African country, his dad was Scottish. His mom was Ghanaian. Because dual nationality is a thing. So to even then make it into an issue and chant about it and sing about it from a racial perspective is just disgusting. And my thing is, look, I'm not pointing at Enzo Fernandez alone, but he was the one that went live on his account. The fact that it was on your account speaks more volumes for me now. Because if you guys had done it without you going live, nobody would have known. You chant your thing, you sing it in your bus, keep it within yourself. Whatever you do in your closed doors, do it in your closed doors. But when you bring it out there in the public place and, you now become the target, there has to be consequences for those actions. Because if this same guy going to come and kneel with his team now, when the season starts at the beginning, no to racism, is he also going to kneel and say no to racism? Like, do you understand how that looks? Like, to me, it's just, yeah. And I can't, it's not Chelsea's fault. It's the Argentine national team. That's the part that I'm trying to kind of separate the clubs from what these guys did. But sadly, you play for your country every 2 years, here and now, friendlies here and now, and then every 2 years majorly, or every 4 years for the World Cup. But you play for your club for months on end as a full-time job. So whatever you do with your country that you think you can get away with, you're going to bring that stigma to your club. Yesterday, on the stream, I told Mo, I said, if Odegaard was an Argentine player and Saliba was an Argentine player and they chanted that, I want them out my club. It's either that or we find a level of punishment that suits them. If Ivan Toney can be banned for what? Was it not 18? How many months? 10 months?
8 months. 8 months. I think
8 months for gambling, right? If somebody could be banned for 8 months for gambling, then there's got to be some kind of consequence for racial, for racism that players put out there. Even if it means you're saying, listen, okay, you're going to be banned for 5 months of playing, and you're going to have to do public speaking on racism and take classes and do rehabilitation, whatever it takes, so that people know that there's consequences for their actions. Otherwise, this is just going to blow over again. And the next person, I mean, do you know there are kids out there who are looking up to him as in, man, they bought him for 120, he's a midfielder, Enzo is the man. And when they see this and there's no consequences, they think it's a normal thing. We can't allow this sip into the sport we love so much. I love football so much that I don't like to have conversations like this about football. I want to have conversations about how I beat Chelsea 5-0. That's the kind of conversation I want to have. I don't want to have conversations about, look, but this is where they put us. Look at this now. Like,
But Dio,
it's crazy.
This is the thing, though, yeah, because I know you want to get done. I just want to say one more thing. I know it's the Argentinian FA that will have to sort something out as well. But the thing is, what Enzo Fernandez, what Alvarez and these other players don't understand is you're not employed by the Argentinian FA. You are employed by your club. So either way, it's coming back to Chelsea.
That's what
either way, Chelsea are going to have to deal with the repercussions now because they pay your wages. That's like doing a national service when you go and play for your country. It's a national service. You do it. I think they get like bonuses for goals and stuff. If I'm pretty sure they do.
They get allowance. They get like allowances. Like they tell them like you get like 200 in the morning for breakfast. 200.
But you're paid by your club, so you are there representing your club as well when you're there and doing.
I totally agree. I totally agree with you. I'm just like
shocking.
That's why I said for me, it's just the part that it happened when they were on national duty, and now the clubs have to face the music. Like that's the part that I don't like. As much as I don't like Chelsea, I would not allow. I think it's unfair what the players did because now they're putting their club in the limelight for something that their club had nothing to do with in it. Chelsea don't need this drama, right? You have Enzo Maresca, you have your new players, you have things that you need to deal with. Chelsea doesn't need that drama. You're on national duty, and then you create a drama now that Chelsea has to deal with, because eventually Chelsea is going to have to deal with the whole Fofana players following each other. It's going to have to deal with the relationship side of things with the players. Probably even have to put out an apology on his behalf again, which by all standards, if I ran the club as Chelsea, I didn't need to be dealing with this. I would have to punish that player. There's got to be consequences. That's the reason I'm saying that there's got to be consequences. Like if it happened in Arsenal and there's no consequences, I will be disgusted. Like if I go play for Nigeria and then I do something crazy that affects the club that I the club doesn't need to be making all. There's too much Chelsea's. I'm not a Chelsea fan. It's annoying.
It's too. The funny thing is the topic is a very sensitive one, and
it is a sensitive topic. So yeah,
and it's more for like a Chelsea fan to really sit back and analyze and see how it really affects them. And shout out to Dan in the building, making his debut. Shout out to my man Ibrahim in the building, always representing Manchester United. Hit the like button, subscribe. Speaking about Dan, I don't know what club you support. Do you know? It's only Kunle that knows you.
What Chelsea fan.
Oh, you're a Chelsea fan. Oh, yeah. I want to. Okay, since you're a Chelsea fan, I want to know your opinion on this situation. How do you think how it affects your manager going into the new season?
Right. First of all, it's good to be here, guys. Thanks for having me on. Pleasure to meet all of you and everyone in the chat as well. For Enzo Maresca, it's like the worst thing that could possibly happen, because going into Chelsea that's already been volatile and unsettled since Clearlake took over, I just feel like this is the last thing you'd want. He was sort of coming in hoping to sort of settle things down, steady the ship, and sort of help the team to progress. And now when you've got arguably one of your, I don't want to say star players, because I personally don't believe he's got to that level yet, but in terms of what Chelsea have paid for him, he's one of their sort of marquee signings under the new ownership, absolutely cutting a whole split through the dressing room, it feels like, I feel like it's everyone against him. It's just the last thing you want as a manager, first of all. Second of all, there's an education process that needs to happen in terms of Enzo Fernandez and the Argentinian national team. But Chelsea have to educate Enzo. He's who we employ from that Argentine team. He needs to be instructed how to use social media in this day and age. He needs to be instructed on values, on the fact that people can come from different countries and represent one national team. They can have the heritage that varies from ancestors all the way to parents. They can even be born in a certain country and move to a different one and feel that their values and their culture is represented in one country, not the other. I think Enzo Fernandez absolutely has to be educated by Chelsea Football Club. And third, he must be fined. There has to be disciplinary action taken because he's caused a great deal of hurt and offence to a lot of the players in the Chelsea squad. I think there's 4 that represent France, but on a greater scale, there's players that represent countries that have a similar situation to what some of the French players have, or some of the guys who represent France but have been born in other countries have as well. So, yeah, it's a nightmare situation, to be honest with you, because it's the last thing you need going into a new season as a new manager in a new league that you've never been in before at a volatile club like Chelsea.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think we should fine him. I think he should be dropped until the whole issue has been resolved. You're not a teammate. See,
I hear what you're saying, but he could be dropped anyway.
No, you can't. No. What I'm saying to you is he shouldn't be near the first team. If this is serious, if it's not, and I'm a bit old school, maybe I'm not looking at the numbers and the money, but if we're serious about this, you drop him, you put him in the reserves, and say, listen, you're there until it's all sorted. This whole thing, right? And maybe it's because of my age. I don't think in today's day and age it's acceptable to be doing what he's doing and then saying sorry to his teammates. So Chelsea, if you really want to make a statement, that is, you don't fine him, you put him in the reserves, and then you make a decision in January and say, listen, you know what, you're not for us. They won't do that, in my opinion, but that's what you do. That's how you run a football club. And then we make a decision on him, because let's be honest, we don't really need him. I'm sure we could probably work without him, even though I do rate him as a player. He's got talent, but he's not exactly, digging up any trees. He didn't do tremendous last season. He did okay. But for me, that's what you do. But that won't happen. In terms of fining him, what you're going to fine him? A week's wages? You fine him for like 6 months of his contract. That's what you do. You fine him proper if you're going to do it. But we know that's not going to happen at Chelsea. Best thing that we can do is wait for this process to go away. To result in something, and then if we think he's learned his lesson, bring him back. That's how you deal with this situation. Yeah. If not, it's a joke anyway. We all know we all know the whole racial issues. We've seen it for.
Hanif, I agree with you 100%. And I think the FA also needs to step in, because they're the ones who are championing this whole campaign about, say no to racism in the game. I think the FA needs to step in as well and put some pressure on Chelsea as a club. I believe Chelsea will do the right thing, because I feel like if we want to enjoy this game without this type of conversation, like look at all of us, 6 of us here, we should be talking about how we're going to beat each other 6-0 this coming season. I want to tell, like, this is what, those are the I want to banter, talk about the tactics of the game and who we're playing and what players you're buying. But when this becomes a topic, we then need to, I think the FA needs to step in as well, put some pressure on Chelsea and say, listen, if you're not going to do anything as the FA, we are also going to put some sanctions on the players that were in that video, because there are multiple players in that video from different clubs. And right now, everybody's talking about Enzo because it was live on his feed, right? So the bottom line is all those other players too there have to be consequences for them. So I think the FA needs to step in and single out all the players in that video. Who plays in the? I'm saying in the Premier League. I'm saying in the FA in the Premier League needs to single out the players who play in the Premier League who were in that video first and foremost, and do something about it. That's number one. Number two, the individual clubs must do something. Either the clubs put them on counseling and they put them on the same way you went live with your silly behavior, you will go live with your training every weekend when you are teaching you how not to be racist. Since you want to be that silly, right? The same way, and then you'll be fined on your wages. Since you're not playing, you're not getting paid. You're not getting paid until all of this is done, and then you can come back. Ivan Toney, I use him as an example again. For gambling, the FA stepped up. His club had to put him on suspension for 8 months.
It was multiple counts of gambling, though. I agree.
It was multiple counts of gambling. What I mean, Hanif, is that there was a consequence for that action. Is what I'm talking about. There was a consequence. It doesn't matter to me if it was 10 10 events of gambling or 20 or 1 or half. The point is, for his action that he did, which is a rule broken, there was a consequence for that action. And if somebody else does something else as well, there should be a consequence for that action. So players know not to act silly. That's all I'm saying. For me, I'm not comparing them as, like, oh, because this person did gambling. No, I'm just saying, if you do something wrong, you have to know that there's a consequence for it. If you can get off the hook for this, he's only going to feel like maybe in the future, if I do something else there, I can always get off the hook again.
I have a question. Sorry to interject. I have a question. Which player has ever gotten the highest sanctioning for racism or racist-related actions?
Maybe Luis Suarez.
Yeah.
I think
How long did he get?
Maybe or John Terry.
Luis Suarez got an 8-game. He got an 8-game ban.
8-game ban.
8
ban and a fine. Yeah, and a fine or whatever.
I mean, John Terry arguably lost the England captaincy off the back of it, which is as much as it's not a. Yeah, I think.
No,
he was sleeping with somebody's wife.
I think there
was something John Terry said.
I think John Terry lost it. He lost it once for that, and also once for the scandal with Rio Ferdinand that was never proven in court, but obviously proven by the FA that he was racist. Hence the removal of his captaincy, I think, for England. So as much as I don't think there was a games missed punishment, losing the captaincy is a pretty big deal, isn't it? I think so. They're probably sort of the biggest two I can think of, at least the most public.
Yeah,
I remember Ron Atkinson. I remember Ron Atkinson against Desai.
Yeah, this question that this guy asking here, like if a black player did the same thing, yes, he should get the same punishment. This is not about. For me, this is about the act itself. I don't care who's doing it. The point is we can't allow it to keep sipping into the game of football. We should be having a different conversation. So even if you're a black player and you go ahead and do something stupid like that, please, let's punish them as well. This is not about, it's a white person who has been racist to a black person. That's not the point. It's about racism. Like, you can't be racist in the game. Simple. That's just the bottom line. If you want to be racist in your home. When you come to work, where I'm spending money buying,
I feel like that's the wrong message, though, isn't it?
No. For me, I'm just like, I can't control what you do in your home as a player, right? I can't control.
I hear that, but I think,
but I can control what you do when you come out. When I'm spending money buying jerseys, paying for cable TV to watch you play, and I'm being disgusted by just seeing you on screen because of the things that you are doing. That's where I would draw. Like, as human beings, I can't control what you do. You can't control what I do in my home. But what I do believe is that I condemn it to the utmost. It is wrong. I do not advise you to even do it in your home, but please don't bring it out. Please don't bring it out.
Yeah, like, I don't think it's acceptable even in the home, Deo. Like that, it just shouldn't happen. And I think that's where the education needs to start. Like, it needs to start at the very source, which is educating these people that come from countries that aren't educated on this matter. That it's absolutely not acceptable, whether it's in the pub. Because what I don't think the message should be here, and sorry to interrupt, but I don't think the message should be that Enzo just shouldn't have done it. Some people are alluding to the fact that, as long as if you didn't do it on social media, like that, you would have been okay. That's not the right way to go about this. The real way to go about this is to say, Enzo, this isn't acceptable. Anyone on that bus who was singing that song, anyone in Argentinian culture that thinks that song is acceptable to sing, no, like it should not be happening. You don't say, don't worry, next time you want to sing it, don't put it on social media, because then he's never going to learn. I agree with you. You have to use Enzo and the Argentinian players that are there. Julian Alvarez is there on the video. You have to use them to almost use and utilize their social media to educate their Argentinian fans that they've completely messed up. They're in the wrong. And actually, this is how you're supposed to go about this situation. And this is how you need to be educated on it. And then use them as the people to educate their fans. I don't think saying it's okay.
I agree with you, Dan. I'm not saying it's okay. You know what? Maybe I take that back. I should take that back. You're right. It's wrong. It's wrong. I shouldn't even bother about what people do in their homes, but it is wrong. Do not. Yeah, that's it. You're right. I actually agree with you. Sorry.
What's going on with this comment here? What was girl said what last night?
No. Someone said being delusional when I said that Enzo needs to be fined and all that. So I was like, yeah, that's not what your girl said last night. I don't,
Please, let's move on from this topic.
No, a
Let's
Chelsea
talk
fan now. A Chelsea fan is here now.
Bro, you're late, mate. You're late, mate. We've been talking about this thing for we've been talking about this topic for 24 minutes. It's depressing me, man. It's depressing.
Can I just say one thing, or can I just say one statement?
Okay, fine. Let's hear your thoughts. Let's hear your thoughts.
I think, I just want to big up to everybody in the house. Nice one. I'm sure you guys have said a lot on this Enzo matter, but for me, I think if you're bought for 100 million plus pounds, you should have sense. You should be sportsmanlike, and you shouldn't be the one to post that kind of video. You should have a good PR management team behind you that had already picked up on that very offensive chance from the World Cup in 2022. Excuse me, when Argentina met France, it should have been picked up then. And the fact that Argentina did it again, and Enzo in that aspect, one of the most expensive players in the Premier League, representing a club like Chelsea and all, and you are the one that posts that as well. You are the lead actor. It was just ignorance, stupidity, of course, racism as well. But I don't think he's, that word racist per se. But at the same time, we do know the story of how Argentines history and all that, but that's a story for another day. But at the end of the day, I just feel when you are in that position where you're bought for that huge amount of money, it comes with a lot of responsibility and definitely responsible. And
even if he was bought for £100,000, he shouldn't be doing that.
Even if he came from
Agreed. But when you're on that level, that's where you punch the holes there. On that level, you shouldn't be even caught near such. At that level, that's where I'm going with that.
The guy's a dickhead, man. He deserves whatever he gets. He's a dickhead.
Well, I agree though. But anyways, let's move on from this depressing topic. Let's talk about the big boys in the transfer market, please. Manchester United spending all that cash, spending all that dough, moving quick on players, spending that £52 million, buying Zerky. Man, Manchester United, I don't know, man. You guys, I won't lie, Sir Ratcliffe is actually doing what he's meant to do. Hey, Brian, don't you agree?
Yeah, I do. I mean, when there's a new sheriff in town, you need to make a statement, and I think he has the easiest job, at the same time one of the hardest jobs. The easiest job in the sense that he has pretty much seen the things that are. What is with the? Oh, something came up on your screen. I was wondering.
Can we confirm that the deal's done?
What's his guy's name? Fabrizio was his name. He already announced, here we go. So I think he's 99% done. I should see the guy in Manchester United call-ups tomorrow. So like I said, Ratcliffe's job is the easiest job in the sense that, the things, the errors in the club are very obvious even to the blind. Everybody sees these things, right? So he has the easiest job being that he knows where to start, and the hardest job being having to sustain this over a period of time. Right, and also ensuring that whatever they are doing, and they get it right. I mean, we've had to. I'll just assume this is done, right, or almost done. We've had to pretty much, very good signings, young guys. The first guy, I wasn't all that, hyped about him, but decent guy. Doesn't know how to have multiple strikers on the club because Managerial is gone, obviously. Then this other guy, whom I think his record is more impressive. I mean, this guy is starting League One games at 17, right? At 18, he's already playing over 30 League One games. And also, if Madrid is also fighting for you, I don't care what anybody says. It means that because Madrid, they have one of the best scouts out there, and they have one of the best youth development strategies, right? So if they are fighting for that boy as well, then obviously there's something about the boy. Now, him coming to Manchester United and hitting the ground running is a different conversation entirely. And we have couple of center backs who are injury prone. Evans, whom should be chilling by the beachside with his family, has decided to come back for a year. I'm excited. I'm excited. We still have one or two gaps in the team to fill, particularly the defensive midfield position. Casemiro hardly gives 90 minutes these days. But I think we're taking baby steps. I'm very optimistic. Like I said on the group a few days ago, I'm willing to take a bet that we are going to finish top 4 this season. Especially with the fact that a couple of other teams.
You're gonna finish where?
I can't lie, bro. You couldn't just say that so quickly like that and just move on, like and just.
He tried it, sir.
No.
I wasn't even gonna join the stream. I wasn't even gonna join the stream.
I said it with my full chest. As you can see, the caption of my name says "A new beginning for Manchester United." I'm wearing a Manchester United jersey. I don't give a shit.
Say again, bro. Say again.
We are going to finish top 4 this season, right? I'm highly optimistic about that. Liverpool, they are about to start a journey they have not been used to in a while. You know, Chelsea, they haven't gotten their shit together.
Can I come in on this?
No, let me finish, please. Chelsea, their players are usually abusing people about. You know, the only person I think would give us
to record this. Wait, hold on. Say that.
Go ahead. The only person that I think would obviously, you know, give us problems this season, you know, Manchester City and those other guys in North London, you know. I mean, other than that,
hey, Danny, you having that? Dan don't have that. He's saying you lot aren't even a threat after you finished above them in your difficult season.
Bro. Last season is gone, man. You guys focus on the future. Stop dwelling on the past.
So hold on. So you're saying
No, wait, Dan. I'm intrigued to see what Dan has to say about this because Dan's team finished above United, and he didn't even mention you in the category for like teams that he should be worried about. Are you having it for Man U?
All the best.
The
best to Danny, man. We're gonna be here. We're gonna see.
Dan, you're on mute.
You're on mute, Dan.
Dan, you're on mute.
Why wouldn't you be concerned about Chelsea?
I'm not concerned.
Just out of interest, because we finished above you.
Gotten their shit together yet.
Which the last time we played was 4-3.
Look, those guys. You guys, Chelsea. You're a Chelsea fan, right?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. And now that guy wearing a loser's jersey down there is also a Chelsea fan. I strongly believe that Chelsea are going to struggle this season. I think they should have let the what's his name, Pochettino. They should let him stay, right? This new guy, I don't know him. Maybe you guys do, but my instinct is telling me you guys are going to struggle. Same thing with Liverpool, right? Liverpool are going to struggle a lot this season. I don't think they've been busy in the transfer market either. Chelsea, you guys have a lot of players, but the team is highly dysfunctional. You know, there's no structure, there's no strategy on the pitch.
Yeah, there's no structure. No
is
strategy.
That not the same as Ten Hag's Manchester
United? There's no structure, no strategy on the pitch, man. Let me tell you something. You guys are a one-man show. Without Palmer, you're shit.
Ten Hag's Man United has no structure,
Palmer
no identity.
Look, Palmer saved your ass so many times.
And you've kept him for another year.
You guys are shit. That is how to know you guys don't have a structure.
Can I come in on this? You've spent 52 million on I don't know who he is. I'm sure he's a good player. But you're telling me the lad that's coming in is going to improve you from what did you finish again last season? 7th, 8th, or whatever. You're telling me that lad's going to improve your defense so much that you're going to concede less goals and you're going to finish in the top 4 when you know as well as I do, your centre-back position was not the biggest problem. Your biggest problem is if you were going to address it, you know, this is where when you have a good sporting director, and I'm not saying we do, but this is where you know this guy knows what he's doing. You go get a DM first to replace Casemiro. That is your first priority. And then you look at your attack. Defensively, you guys will be all right with what you've got. But you're saying that we're, you know, all over the place. And to a certain degree, you're right. I'm not going to disagree with you. We are. However,
sorry, who are
we still finished above you with we still finished above you with the season we had. And you're keeping Ten Hag for another year, and you're relying on this youngster that's coming in to get you from where you were finished to where you want to be. And I get it, top 4 is your ambition, but based on this young lad, you're crazy. It doesn't make any. I'm very old. I'm the oldest on the panel, and I don't understand. I do not understand. Like, I've put Chelsea at 8, mate. And that's me being reasonable. I put Chelsea at 8 because I don't know what we're gonna get. But to say that United are gonna finish top 4, it's crazy. You have to expect better performances from majority of your players that we saw last season. I think Bruno will improve, but your attacker has to do better. Your wingers have to do better. Rashford has to do better. And we don't know. There's a lot of question marks on Anthony, Rashford, Sancho, and all these guys. And so you're expecting a lot from a team that is very fragile. I'm not hating on you. I'm just saying, if you look at
I mean, you are
pieces
hating a little
puzzle
bit.
at United,
That's not hating.
it's
That's not hating. That's
it's
just
the
clearly
truth.
stating. He's clearly
It's
stating
the truth.
exactly what it is.
Can I respond to
It's
you
the
now,
truth.
Alex?
Yeah, of
Can I
course you
respond
can,
to
mate.
you?
Yeah.
First of all, the transfer market has not closed yet. When it closes, we can revisit the players that each team has got into their team, right? One. And secondly, look, I watched every game that we played last season, and I can tell you for free that a lot of the problems that we had were managerial issues, right? In terms of making the right substitution at the right time.
You've got the same manager, mate.
Exactly, and the same guy came third
You've
the
got-
previous season. So what are we talking about? It's not like he's a greenhorn of the game in the league.
Hold on.
No. We're going somewhere.
Just stop for a second.
We came seventh last season and kicked you out of the Europa spot that you believe you had gotten. Let me finish.
Okay,
You had your time to talk.
just take into consideration that the team that you had, right, and when you bought the players that you had, and you bought decent players, and now you're moving on from those players with younger players. I'm telling you right now, look, I've seen this picture. It's going to take you guys time to finish top 4 because Chelsea are in more or less a similar position to you.
It's going to take you longer than it's going to take us. I promise you.
Well, hold on. So wait, you're going to sit here, and this is not me. And this is the same thing I said to Ahmed, the Man U fan. I said, you're going to sit here and say that Xerxes and Leny Yoro right now, the 2 players you brought in right into your team with the squad that you have now will take you from the position you were last season to top 4. That's jokes, and I agree.
You sound like a journalist.
No. What I'm saying, like I agree.
Journalist.
It doesn't matter what I sound like. The point is, facts are facts.
Journalists try to twist words.
Facts. No. Facts are facts. Like, no. Here's the thing. Facts are facts, right? You can't listen. Facts are facts. If the season starts today, I agree the window hasn't closed. We don't know what we cannot talk about. We're not Nostradamus. We're not going to predict the future. Let's talk about what we have on ground right now. If we pick the players that you have right now with the transfers you have done right now, they don't take you to 4th position from the position you were last season. That's all I'm saying. And because why can I say that? Because looking at what you have, there's still a lot of things that you guys are structurally building, right, as a team, which is good. You're in the right direction. You're getting players that have talent and will become generational for you. You're bringing in the menus. You're working on getting in other players to fill up the spot. And eventually, if you qualify, say, next season for Europa, great. You know, these young players have now merged together. They now understand themselves. The season after that, you can then be talking about top 4. And this is coming from somebody who supports a team that took us that long to get there because it takes a process. And nobody wants to agree. No, I'm an Arsenal fan. Nobody wants to agree. Nobody wants to agree that it takes a process, right? My team is it will take you 4 years to catch up to where we are right now. As Arsenal.
I don't think so, man.
It will take you 4 seasons. If you assume as a Manchester United fan that you keeping Eric Ten Hag buying an 18-year-old who has played one season in
2 seasons.
No, one major season. He's played his first major season right now in the French league in Lille. As in, you're paying 50 million guaranteed for him, 5 million in add-ons that are easy, and 7 million in difficult add-ons, 62 million euros, and you're going to be paying him 112 a week. You assume no, hold on, let me just finish. You assume that that's the person
if no one jumps in, you're just going to talk forever. I've been in before.
You've been where before. You started again. Let me finish what I'm saying.
Sorry, bro. Let me finish for somebody else to start.
Let me finish what I'm saying to him, and then you can speak. It's that simple.
I know it was your point. You don't know. It wasn't even your point.
You guys calm down.
Can I finish?
Once you finish your point, let him talk. Let Jay talk.
Okay, I'll let him speak. I was just going to wrap up. So my point is, let's be realistic about where you are and where the club is going. To just say, we're going to make top 4. Even I can't say we're going to win the league next season with the way other teams are beefing up. So that's just be realistic about it. I have 13 as well. You may have more than me, but I have 13.
You can never win the league. You can never win the league.
Yeah, right. I have won it before though. So
the one thing I wanted to say on this, I think it's a good signing. I mean, to say I don't know the player well enough to know how much he'll just go in straight away and be at the level that he can be. I don't know him well enough. He could do he might not. It's 50-50. I do know that Real Madrid and PSG wanted this player and would have taken this player if not for the amount of money that it cost to sign him. So I know that this is a high-level prospect at the very least that these two clubs wanted if the money was right. Now, the money wasn't right. United buffed up the deal. They got the player. I think he's an improvement on like Johnny Evans and Lindelof. And you can make an argument for Maguire too. And if the defense is fit and you're looking at Shaw, Lisandro, Yoro, Dallo, it looks a pretty good defense. It looks somewhat competent. I don't think you're ever more than a year away from being, a good team in the Premier League because, these are top players. So I would say that apart from Arsenal and I guess City, City and I guess Arsenal. Let me get the phrasing correct.
Right.
Or
there you are, Jay. You said the truth first.
I misspoke. I misspoke incorrectly first. But apart from those two, there's about 6 or 7 teams who are looking at the Champions League spots and thinking, yeah, we can make that. Right. And there's no obvious hierarchy to those 6 or 7 teams. They could all do a good job. So I think if I'm a United fan, I wouldn't want my expectations to be getting lowered to the point where I don't think I can make top 4. That would be my aim, top 4 in a trophy. Most teams outside City and Arsenal are saying top 4 in a trophy, top 4 in a trophy. That's what they want. So I think it's a good signing. I think he'll improve United. I don't know what immediately it will look like, but yeah, I think United should be happy. And it shows more imagination than signing De Ligt. It's a more creative signing. You've
said it. You've just said it right there. Just before those few words, you don't know what it's going to look like straight away. I always believe that whenever you buy anyone who's never played in the Premier League, you need to give them a season to embed in, and it's going to take him a number of games to get there. I'm sure they're all good players. Listen, all the top talented players across Europe are good talent. No one's seen this kid really. Let's be honest. And it's going to take him a bit of time, but that time is going to cost you mistakes and points.
On the flip side, when you saw people like Fofana come into the Premier League straight away, he was good straight away. Didn't need any.
Yeah, but he's not the norm. He's the exception. That's what we're saying. The norm is not really no. The exception. Hear me out. The exception of players hitting the ground running. The exception of players hitting the ground running is the norm. Is a lot of players need time to acclimatize. Now, this is an 18-year-old we're talking about, an 18-year-old from the French league who is very, very talented. Don't get me wrong. I've watched a few of his videos. I've watched a few clips. I watched a couple of matches. I was like, let me go check this boy out.
Are you scared?
No, not scared. Like, no, because I like football, and when there's talents out there, I want to know who the players are. Like, I watch football not because I'm an Arsenal fan, but because I love football. I go and watch games. I watch other games. It's not just because I love. This is my team, yes,
so
but I follow. Think? So I think he's a superb talent. What I'm saying is there's a difference between a superb talent. Like when he comes to the Premiership, he will need time to acclimatize.
You won't talk now.
Oh, to say that he's going to speak now. If you want to speak now, you want to talk. Not only if you speak pidgin, we don't say you want to talk. You want to possess me like
you need to behave yourself.
You want to follow me now.
You make us blues fans look bad.
You want to begin to follow me now. You want to begin to follow me now. I will possess you like this.
If your players are not racially, if your players are abusing other players, your fans are fighting. Very typical. Focus on football. Next season around the corner. Focus on
oh my
football.
God.
Because are the follow speaking? If you want to follow
Can I be? Are we still talking about Manchester United?
Yes, FX. What do you have to say?
Okay. I just think the most important thing is I like what Ibrahim has said. Escobar. I like the way you went in hard there. Pause. As in, hyping your team up. You just bought an 18-year-old. Just sudden amnesia just came in. You forgot the shambolic season you had and just feel fourth. I like that. It's always good to be ambitious.
Bro.
always good to always have belief. But Hanifa said it. I mean, if you buy an 18-year-old who hasn't been tested in the Premier League at the highest level, we saw what happened to Haaland, or is it Højlund? Sorry. I mean, dude didn't score double figures in the Prem. He struggled a bit. I mean, Rashford should have passed more from, but aside that, but aside that,
that
let's
is the
be real.
biggest bar I've ever. Listen, that is a bar and a half. That's an Haaland. Like even the Haaland.
Bro. But see, let's be realistic. No doubt, United finished on a high. Yes, FA Cup. But I mean, I have to go with what Hanifa said. If a team like Chelsea that we didn't even expect to even finish in the top 6 still finish above a United, and you suddenly feel United is going to make the top 4 the following season.
You get why that thing happened. You get why.
I don't know.
There's
I don't know because
I won't tell you the reason it happened, but there's a reason it happened.
Okay, you get why. Okay. There's always a why. There's always a why in everything. But at the end of the day, look, bro. The only way I would see a United making that top 4 is because of Aston Villa being in the Champions League this season. That will take its toll on them. What is happening with Newcastle as well? Are they going to improve from what happened to them last season when they also were in the Champions League? Now that they're not in the Champions League, they'll also want that top 4. Spurs will always be Spurs. Chelsea have gotten a very good manager in Maresca. So that also is that also.
You guys said.
No.
I need to puncture your argument.
It's a tough one for you guys, though.
I need to puncture your argument. You said Yoro is relatively unknown or whatever talent, but you have not said Maresca or Mascara, whatever you know. You said he's a very good manager. He's a very good manager. What makes him good?
He is. I mean, if you win the championship,
whereas he plays, I'm trying to understand what has he done? What makes him very good?
You win the championship.
Ten Hag won the Dutch league and came
Vincent
to Vincent
Company,
bro. And came to struggle.
Young man.
Vincent Company came and got relegated. What makes Maresca so good?
He's a good manager. Vincent Company is now Bayern's coach.
Okay, that's fine. Just remember when Vincent Company done all of that in the championship, he came here, bro. People started slapping, bro. It was like 5.
Manager, Bayern coach.
But the thing is if I said to you, bring Marco Silva, you'd be like, no, I don't want Marco Silva. If I say go bring Scott Parker, you say, no, I don't want Scott Parker. But if I say go bring the most expensive championship squad who sold a number of players and then reinforced to the point that they got a points deduction, you'll say, come on down. And listen, I jest, but Enzo Maresca is a good manager. But I do think the likes of a Marco Silva, just on a little tangent, I want to see him get a big job. Like that's just a little thing for me. I just want to see Silva get a big job. But Enzo's like, for me, it's like profiling. They're starting to profile managers the same way that they profile footballers. So now they're saying, hey, Enzo's got the profile that we're looking for. He plays like this. He passes from the back.
The least Enzo could have done was won the championship. He had a Premiership team. He had Leicester. That's the least you can do when you have a team that just came.
Some players,
no, he did. No, but he did have Premiership proven players who were playing at a higher quality than the guys who were in the championship. The championship is hard. Don't get me wrong. I've seen the championship.
It's hard.
It's very hard. It's a tough. Like I watched the championship. I know it's tough, but my thing is that's the least you can do when you have a Leicester and you're in the championship as a manager. Without quality of players.
Okay, guys, I want to go to the comment sections real quick.
Games? Did you watch what Leeds were doing on other teams?
Yeah, I do.
It's tough, bro.
No, I know it is tough. I agree with you. I'm not saying, but I'm saying like of all the teams, when you have teams like Leicester going there, or you have like a Southampton who just dropped down, or let's even say like Leeds who were in the Premier, like the players that you take with you are players from the Premiership, right? So the least you can do is try to get back in the Premiership. It's easier for you than the likes of any other of those Millwall, any of those teams, like any one of those other teams. That's all I'm saying.
Sorry, they're back in the Premier League, right?
Leicester.
Yeah.
I think Ipswich and Leicester, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're back here.
Okay, guys, I want to go to the comment section real quick and see some nice questions and see I think I have some questions from you guys, especially Ibrahim. There's one question here for Ibrahim.
Hit me.
Ibrahim, where is it? If I can find it.
Is it for Box? From Box. I think I saw it
I
come
can't
earlier.
really find it right now. But the question was, why you underrating Chelsea?
Why am I underrating Chelsea? I mean, I'll be very honest. My most of my speech that I'm giving you is pretty much forward by hate.
That's the question here. Say the reason, Escobar. Stop the cap.
I'm telling you, everything I've said here, 50% is forward by hate. You know, I don't like Chelsea. I don't like Arsenal. I don't like the fans. I don't like your players. I don't like your coach. I don't like anybody, man. So obviously, my first instinct is to wish you guys bad, right? So at the same time, if I also want to be objective, you guys ain't shit, man. I'm telling you, you guys are going to go through serious crisis. You have a new manager. He's going to try to. You should have just left Pochettino. Let me tell you something. You see this higher fire thing. It will only work. It will only work if you are bringing a top guy. If you're going to hire and fire people, make sure the person you replace them with is a guy who has, a lot of feathers on his heart. Solid guy. You can't be bringing out guys that be testing out guys. Look at what we are doing, right? There's a reason why we didn't sack ETH. Apart from the financial implications, we are trying to have a long-term plan. If you keep bringing new guys, you're not going to get the structure right. So that's why I know that Chelsea.
Do you have anything to say to the man who is berating your club right now?
I just feel like you're sitting in a situation where you don't seem too much different than you were last season. So I don't get what has changed at Manchester United for you to expect much of a different outcome. I understand you've signed Yoro, but for me, an 18-year-old centre-back isn't everything that Manchester United needs to revitalise its defence. I think Xerxes is a good player, but again, he's not setting the world alight for me coming into Manchester United. I expect him to take a while to bed in as well to the Premier League because of the type of the player that he is. So I don't see why you expect such a difference this season as compared to last season. Chelsea, yes, look, there are question marks around the manager, but if the club have got it right and they've profiled him correctly, then hopefully they're going to move in a direction better than what they were doing under Poch. But look, I'm not sure whether or not a Manchester United fan should be questioning and worrying and underestimating Chelsea as a club, because right now I think we're in similar positions. It'll be interesting.
No, we're not. Our manager is spending his third season. He has a very good understanding of the club. You guys are pretty much starting afresh. With Pochettino, I might not have said this.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead, please.
If by January you have the same wobble like you did this season, do you believe that Manchester United should be looking elsewhere? Because I think that's what Radcliffe's going to do.
For a new manager?
Yeah.
100%.
Because I think this is his last.
100%.
You're saying that because you're
100%.
saying the current team with the addition so far of the 18-year-old is good enough to finish in the top four. When I believe that Man City, Arsenal, and possibly Liverpool will get three of the positions, and then the fourth place will be up for grabs between a host of clubs. There's always one surprise, and it'll be someone different next season, in my opinion.
Right.
But if not Liverpool, not Liverpool.
FX, give me 1 minute. You're very passionate. I get it. But all I'm saying is if you ask everyone here, and I know we don't like our rivals, but if you just look at it from our point of view, you have to expect big numbers from Rashford again. You're looking at 15 goals a season from him. Can he deliver? He's got the talent to, but will he? And then Højlund, you're expecting 12 to 15 goals a season. You need a better season from Anthony. You're expecting a lot from a crop of players that you saw last year. And I watched a lot of your games because I'm related, because I watch a lot of United games with my relatives and they're United fans. And it's just when you're watching, yeah, I know. That's what can I do? I love football. I have to watch it with them. But it's just when I watch United last season, the football was not good, but if you get the results, it's fine. But I don't personally think, right, Ten Hag needs, I said it when he was employed, he needs 5 years. This is when he, and you can ask these guys. I was telling you, I go, he needs 5 years to sort it out because you're in dire straits. You've just sacked about 250 people from your club in July, so the whole club is all over the place. You've restructured internally to spend more money and to save more money, and buying 18-year-old kids. You're basically doing what we're doing, buying young players and hoping that these guys somehow, some way can beat the likes of Arsenal. An experienced top quality team can do the unthinkable against City. That's what you're expecting. And I'm telling you, I don't expect Chelsea to finish top 6. I really don't. I think it'll be 7th, 8th. We exceeded last season, and I was really happy about that. And ask these guys, I was here last season, I said 10th. I honestly believe we finished 10th because we're not that good, because I didn't think it was going to gel that quick. But these guys have ripped it apart, and they think the new guy will do it. But you need 3 to 5 years to do it. I think Ten Hag's in a similar boat that I think he's gonna do everything he can. But you're buying an 18-year-old kid who's talented, but will he take you? When we all spend money and if this kid was 100 million, you expect him to be ready. I expect everyone at Chelsea to be ready. I don't care what your price tag is, because you're playing for Chelsea Football Club, and I expect us to get a European place. I'll take freaking Conference League. I'm not going to lie to you, but I don't believe we're going to finish that. And I see you guys. You might finish just above us or just below us, and I don't see it any different. That's just my opinion. But and I'm telling you, if you ask these guys, I think more or less they will agree with me.
Yeah, I just want to say a little closing statement because I gotta go, but I just want to say, listen, of course, it's great to see the ambition in your eyes, man. Honestly, it's a great thing to see, man. You're finally ambitious. I don't know where you got the ambition from because it was a mess last season, but anyway, big up to Yoro because I think he's actually a talented centre back. And listen, people were saying what they're saying about him about Saliba. You know what I mean? They saw him and they were like, yeah, you know what? This could be a good player. This could be somebody who has that talent in him to become somebody that can be at the top level. But the only thing I will say is, firstly, you need to fix the midfield. Also, there's always that chance with Ten Hag that we don't know what football he's going to play. We don't know whether he's going to be able to consistently do that. And the last thing that I think really stumps and stops Man United in their tracks is, have they even got a left back yet? Because their left backs are finished. Luke Shaw is on his last legs. And what's his name again? The Malacia. Malacia, we didn't even see him last season. He was fighting. I don't know what injury he was fighting, bro. But this must have been mad serious, bro, because we didn't see him. I don't think he played the game last season.
It's a voodoo thing. It's a voodoo.
We need to.
Pogba buried something.
I think you guys need to get a left back as well, because
Pogba buried the head of a horse. Pogba buried the head of a horse at Old Trafford. Remember, don't forget, that's what it's a voodoo thing. Voodoo.
But anyway, listen. Kanebi, appreciate you for having me on, man. I'm out.
Bro.
Man United stink. Hold that, Chelsea, you frauds. And Jay, you're going through too much pain already. I don't even need to comment, brother. But big up. Thanks for having me, guys, man. I appreciate you guys, man. Smash the like,
Cheers,
guys.
my G.
Smash the like.
Cheers, my G.
There's people. There's.
Yo, so while he leaves, I want to go through some of the comments. We have Speaking Facts saying Bro being delusional and knowing United is also signing the Ligt, who have more experience than all Chelsea defenders. Wow. Is he speaking facts there? Is he speaking facts?
I would say that with the Ligt, I would say he's not been a flop. And this is the point I was trying to make before. He's not been a flop, but he's not been a roaring success at the clubs he's been at over the last few years. And I think if you look at the price, let's look at the Ligt. Let's say they want 50 million euros, which is what, like, let's say 42, 43 million pounds. His wage packet, even with a wage cut, you're looking at 200K. Let's say he signs a 4-year deal. You're looking at 90 million pound outlay on De Ligt. That's how much he's going to cost. So to me, I look at that sort of deal and say, is that the best deal that we can do? Is this the best package deal that we can do, taking into account his form, taking into account his price? Is this the kind of deal I want to be doing as Man United? Because you've already got Mason Mount from last season. You've already bought somebody coming off Mount actually was probably coming off a worse season, but you still spend 60 million on him, which is interesting. But conversation for another day. But the idea that, Todibo is loan obligation to buy agreed with West Ham. I know you can't do that deal because of UEFA, but there's more creative, intelligent deals out there than De Ligt. And I don't necessarily think I understand why they would go out for him, but I think they could do maybe a better deal potentially. But I don't. He's 24, going to be 25 with a lot of experience, but I don't know. I just think that they could be a little bit more savvy, but we'll see.
And what you just said right now, Jay, actually true. Like the outlay would be like for a 4-year deal plus salaries and everything. You're looking at about 90 million for him. And that's not, for a 24-year-old, I personally don't think that's bad, because I think he can grow with the team. Euro can grow with the team. They can, if you're going to spend that kind of money on young players that you're going to build with, right, and be consistent, then I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good direction, because it's similar to what we did. We got younger players and just kind of every year, just etch up a little bit. They know themselves better, etch up a little bit, and then you'll get to a point where you can then begin to bring in the more experienced guys, to really show up the team. So De Ligt and Yoro in defense, I think give them a season to gel and you would see so, because I've seen Yoro play. And I can tell you that he will come good. I agree. There's the kid will come good, but he needs at least time, because he's also 18. Remember that, and very few times we think that talent is everything. One injury and he's out for 6 games could do damage his confidence.
He will not have injury.
No, amen. He won't. I'm just saying, but it's a contact game. Like you understand, anything can happen. Is all I'm saying. So but if you're spending this kind of money on young players for the long term, then kudos to Man U.
Yeah, but I just feel United also, maybe United might be wrong. And maybe a lot of you United fans also, and maybe even neutrals, are getting a bit too excited about this Euro chap. I'm looking back at William Saliba too now, and I'm looking at what Arteta did to him, sending him on loan. He was young. We could see that he was a hot talent. Everybody was expecting him to join Arsenal immediately and be blooded in the Premier League, but he sent out on loan for 2 seasons. And every time I asked, proper Arsenal fans, I was like, what's happening with Saliba? You guys are struggling in defense right now. Your guy buying David Luiz and the likes, and you still have what's that Greek guy's name? The Arsenal faithfuls were saying he's not ready yet. That don't worry, just trust the process. He's not ready yet. And lo and behold, boy came back, and he's been more or less one of, if not the best defender in the league. So maybe that's what United should do with this Euro chap too. Rushing him immediately, starting a centre-back pairing with him and De Ligt all of a sudden, that is too early.
Bro, in my work, FX, that's the thing, it might work. This is the funny thing about football. This is the crazy part. Like with Saliba,
it's the Premier League. The level is
that's why I say that's why all fingers are not equal. Saliba's journey in life was to go on loan. There are other people who join. Like this is why when I watch someone like Lamine Yamal, I tell them, I'm like, for a 16-year-old who is 17 now,
they marinated Saliba.
I know,
they had to marinate him for 2 years, bro.
And that's another thing. But you also have to look at personality of the player, because these are things that we don't see. Some players, their personality, someone like, it might be hard for them, the language, changing the language, learning English, embedding themselves. So there's a lot to factor in. But this kid, and because he's younger, there are things that he will literally pick up easily, like the language, making friends. That's what young people do. But the older players, they find it harder. They're set in their ways. So there's so many factors. But, he's a talent, and I will never take that away from Man U. I think they're buying right if they're buying young and spending that kind of money over there. Chelsea did it. Chelsea's players, I'm afraid of the Chelsea squad when they blend. Like once they click, like you know, Candy, you know me now. You know I like data. I like to go and look at. I like looking at data. Every Chelsea player, right? Once they hit their prime, can give you 90% in every game consistently for over 30 games.
When you say that, I want to close out with this question.
Question him on.
This question is for Dan, and this is the question I want to close out with. United have never had a structure, but now there's one that can sustain a process with the change of ownership. Chelsea is still a hire and fire club. Why does the panel believe Chelsea has a better future? This is for Dan, so I can wrap this up.
It's difficult to say they have a better future under Maresca when I think he's an unknown. I'm just not sure that in the immediately we will. I think there's positives to take off Maresca, but there's also a lot of unknown. I just think going forward, Todd Boehly strikes me as someone that might be a little bit more ambitious in what he wants for the club than Sir Jim Ratcliffe has shown. The way Jim Ratcliffe spoke, I'm not sure how ambitious it looks. I feel like the fact that he's kind of wait. I don't know if he's waiting patiently or he's backing Ten Hag, but the fact he's not removed him already tells me that it's not ambitious enough. I feel like Manchester United fans wanted better than Ten Hag. Maybe that wasn't available, but I feel like if Jim Ratcliffe had gone about it in the right way, he could have probably achieved a manager in a slightly more desirable state than what Ten Hag's just agreed this new contract in. So I'm not sure. I feel like Chelsea and Manchester United are in similar positions because of how their ownership's changed in recent years. I don't see which one's going to get off and progress better in, say, the next 5 years. What I will say, though, is I just have a feeling that the amount of money Todd Boehly has already spent suggests to me that he might be a little bit more ambitious than what Jim Ratcliffe is in terms of the sporting side of things at this moment in time.
Yep. Big up the panel. Thanks for coming, guys. I want to big shout out to Jake for coming through.
Sorry,
I don't know what team you support, though. What team do you support?
I support Tottenham.
So
I was a little bit late because
what?
Tottenham.
Yeah.
Tottenham.
Oh.
I thought he froze then. I support Tottenham, and I thought he froze.
I was just starting to like you, man.
No, we played our first preseason friendly tonight as well, so that was interesting. We had a lot of youngsters playing, and it was really good actually. Like Archie Gray played, looked great. Bergvall played, looked really good. Lots of youngsters, so I'm.
Are you guys going to win a trophy this year?
I do. I think it's time. I've got my eye on the Europa League. I want the Europa League. But I'll take. And listen, if you're dying of thirst, you'll drink anything, right? So
but at least I like your mentality. I know some stupid Tottenham fans that will tell me they don't want no Mickey Mouse cups. They want the
at this point, the thing is it's like it's getting over the hump. It's hard to win trophies. It's a thing that Arsenal fans when they were picking up FA Cups but not winning other things, they respected that fact. But now that they're high in the league but not winning, it's a little bit more like they like the experience again. You know what I mean?
Have it all. You can't have
exactly.
It all.
No, I mean that's the point. So we'll see. But I'm hoping we make a signing this week. I've got my eye on a couple of players. I'm hoping we can bring someone in. But looking forward to the season. I think Spurs will do well.
Yeah, you guys have a good coach. So you guys have a good coach.
I rate Ange. I honestly do rate that guy. Now that I've seen what he did last season, and then I went back to check his previous coaching career and just found a few things, and I was like, the guy knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. The club just needs to back him. They need to back him 100%. That's the thing. If they back him, Tottenham will be in the conversation. Remember, I told you this, Jay, last season. I said, you guys buy the right players. You are definitely in the conversation this season. You are definitely in that conversation. Chelsea, again, I repeat, they should clip this. When Chelsea players click, I don't know whether it's Maresca that can make them click or whoever, but when they click, everybody watch out. The whole league stay on alert. Nkunku,
Yeah.
Those boys, these boys that they have. Ooh, oh man, you just need to go look at some stats, right? And just and correlate it and then decide, okay, if Palmer and Nkunku are firing on all cylinders and they get a good 9. Oh, damn, man, let's just
Thank
win.
God they have racism issues.
Right now, I'm just glad. I'm glad that they're dysfunctional right now. I'm just literally, honestly glad that they're dysfunctional right now because I'm telling you, man, just looking at the squad from front to back, Malo Gusto is going to only get better. Reece James is going to struggle with Malo Gusto in that position. Like, it's going to become a problem for them.
You
Like,
have a question to answer. What conversation has paused?
no. I said they can be in the conversation if they buy the right players and they actually back Ange. I think Ange. I rate. Look, let me put my bias aside. I don't like Tottenham for anything. I want them to fail. I want Ange to fail because he's coaching at Tottenham. But if I have to look at Ange's career and how I rate him, Ange is a good coach. If Ange is backed by the club and they get him the players that he needs, it's going to be a long season for a lot of people.
But you know, the one thing I would just say, like, people, like, and I know people talk about,
Big ups,
like,
guys. I gotta go, man.
Yeah, I know.
I need to end the stream in a bit too.
People talk about youngsters. Watch out for Spurs' batch of youngsters. They could be a bit special. That's what I'm looking for.
All right, my G's. Thanks for coming on. Hopefully, we get to do this very soon. Very, very soon. Thanks for coming, my esteemed gentlemen. Thanks for coming on Tunnel TV. Appreciate you guys. And you guys also look out for their channels and their links. The links are in the comments, in the description. You guys should check them out also. Dan, thanks for coming on your debut. Dial, always a pleasure. You know now. You know what it is, my G.
Yes, sir. Dan, it was nice.
Yeah, pleasure, guys.
Hit the likes, subscribe, watch the other videos, and I'm gonna see you guys very, very soon. Peace.
Peace.
Oh.